good evening, good afternoon, and good night to all of you people out there. I am on my way to pick up a friend from the last day of school. Needed a ride home, because it's the last day of school, finished finals, and they needed a ride home, so giving her a ride home. So I thought I'd use this time driving my old route back to school to make an old-timey video of, I don't know, me rambling on. This is an old-fashioned video. This is what I used to do all the time. This was it. This was me all the time on the way to school. I kind of moved the camera closer to imitate that, even though I had the camera like right here. I had it pointing facing straight back for the most part. Kind of an old style video. I made a lot of those videos, and none of them have very many views at all. But I'm taking my old route back to the same school I drove back and forth from in my black car. And kind of felt nostalgic. I thought I'd make another video, use this time wisely, But the first video I ever made on my channel was a video called Fish Stick Mozzarella Stick Roulette. And I watched it the other day and I laughed. But it has like 0 views. And my stepmom thought it was the cringiest thing ever. And I'm like sitting there watching it and I was just laughing. And the story was like, I went to Sonic and I didn't know what to get. I passed Dairy Queen and I went to Mountain Dew, but I got a Mellow Yellow instead because that's the closest thing they had. And I get to Sonic and I'm looking at the thing and I seen the fish sticks and the mozzarella sticks and they looked oddly similar. And then I was like, what if you breaded them the same way, right? And you put them on a platter and you put a thing of ketchup and a thing of marinara sauce next to, like in the middle, and then stack the fish sticks and cheese sticks around it. And you just picked a stick, you dipped it in one of the 2 sauces, and you just guessed. You either got a cheese stick and marinara sauce, a fish stick and ketchup. You could add other condiments too, like tartar sauce and stuff. You get a cheese stick and tartar sauce, a cheese stick and marinara sauce, a cheese stick and ketchup, get a fish stick and marinara sauce. Like, endless combinations, but you can't break it open, you can't smell it, you can't nothing. You just gotta pick it up, dip it, and eat it. And whatever it is what it is. Little roulette game. I thought it'd be a fun little party thing. And I watched the video back and forth. It'd be fish stick, mozzarella stick, roulette. And I thought it was hilarious, but I guess no one else did. I laughed, that's all that mattered. All the other videos, though, were me friggin' just being dumb, rambling about stuff. I think a couple videos I talked about me going to St. Louis and watching the Cardinals play, watching Albert Pujols, watching Yachty hit a homer. And then I made a video and talked about Albert Pujols getting to 700 home runs. I had the old videos with me and Ryan. Man, those videos were great. The 2 videos I have of me and Ryan going to golf practice, I haven't watched them all the way through, but I've like watched bits and pieces of them, and it's they're so stupid. They're so dumb. And it's funny watching those videos back because we say some things in those videos that are not true anymore, not even close. Oh my gosh. I did a pull in one of those videos, and it was like, we're like, oh my god, I went 55 mile an hour. We talked about having Life 360 and stuff, and I'm sure it was a 55 mile an hour pull, but it was just funny. And in that video, we went to Sonic, so it's 2 different videos, part 1 and part 2. We're on our way there, and I think my girlfriend at the time called me, and so I had to get off the phone. I had to get off the camera and answer the phone call, I have to. And I was going to anyways. And so I pick it up and we talk, and then we get to Sonic and we pick the video back up. Well, we decide what we want, and I press the red button, and it takes them forever to get our food. Forever, dude. It took so long. The second video is like 20 minutes long, and the first video is like 15. It is nutty. And we're so dumb in those videos. It's so stupid. And watching them back is just funny. And it's just one of those things. And last night I spent some time. So one of my favorite movies of all time is Need for Speed. I love that movie with a passion. That movie came out in 2014, and I watched it that year, and I remember watching it on TV when I was younger. So how old was I? Let's see, I'm 19 now, it's 2024, so I would have been 9 years old. I seen it on TV, and I didn't know what the movie was called. I just watched it, like the last half of it, and I was like, this is amazing, like, this is awesome. I love this movie. Well, I didn't know what the movie was called. And I kept seeing scenes from it, like, all the time. And I'm like, I don't know what this movie's called. Why doesn't anyone ever name it? Well, I found it, and I watched it all the way through, and I fell in love with it. And the Mustang in that movie was an incredible car, and I love that car so much. And last night, I built it in the Crew 2, as you do. It's a 2014 Mustang GT500, but it's not really a GT500. It's an amazing car, and I watched Need for Speed multiple times over the last couple of days. I actually just watched it before leaving. I watched all 2 hours of it. The movie's 2 hours long, which I had no idea, but it's a great way to spend 2 hours. And the vehicles in that movie are amazing. And I love the music and all the things. All the things make me happy. And last night in the Crew, I made the car, and then I traveled from New York to Detroit, and then from Detroit to the Bonneville Salt Flats, and then from the Salt Flats to San Francisco, which is like the route in the movie. The route is to go from New York to San Francisco, but they stop in Detroit, and they get caught up in Utah, and then end up on the Bonneville Salt Flats. So I added that to my route. My goal was to do it in 45 minutes. Like, they had 45 hours to get from New York to Cali. And then, so I set myself, because the Crew 2's map is the United States, I set myself 45 minutes to do all of it, and I did it. I did it in, let's see, I had 10 minutes left, so I did it in 35 minutes. Which was fun. I had the car set up loose as heck, and I drove the crap out of it the entire way across the U.S., drifting and sliding it on my wheel. I sat on my wheel for 35 minutes and literally just drove the crap out of that car. And I made the trip. I wrote it on a piece of paper. You start in Mount Kisco, New York, and then go to Detroit. And I couldn't find the office building that they used in Detroit as like a marker, because travel there, you pick Finn up, whatever, you leave. Well, I couldn't find out what office building it was last night, and I didn't really feel like looking for it, so I kind of gave up, and I just they drive past Ford Field in the movie, so I said, go past Ford Field. And so I set that as a travel destination, and then stop at a travel stop in Nebraska, which you're going to have to anyways, but stop at like a truck stop in Nebraska, and then through Utah to the Bonneville Salt Flats, the pad with the billboard and everything. And then from there to the Mark Hopkins Hotel in San Francisco, which is a 4-star hotel right in the middle of San Francisco, like on the bay, like in the hills. And I was like, if you type all of that in, like with the stops and everything, it's an hour, or it's a day and 20-hour trip. What's a day in 20 hours? 44 hours. So, yeah. A day and 20 hours. And their goal is to make it in 45 hours, which is more than enough time, but they had to stop in Detroit to get Finn, and that probably cost them a lot of time. But they had 28 hours to get from Detroit to San Francisco, which they wasted a lot of time getting to Detroit. So, yeah. Just one of those things. One of these days I'll own a 2013 Mustang GT. One of these days it'll be wide-bodied and supercharged. And I'm not going to start, before people say, it's a GT500. You need to start with a GT500. It's not technically a GT500. It has a GT500 motor on it. Nowhere on that car does it say Shelby. There's not a snake. There's not a Shelby logo. It doesn't say Shelby anywhere. In fact, there's 3 Mustangs on the whole car. One in the middle of the steering wheel, one on the front, one on the back. That's it. There's not even a Ford logo on that thing. And there's not a Ford logo on this one either. But my point is, they may have started with a Shelby. I don't know that. But all Shelby Mustangs are just Ford Mustangs. And I don't want to start with a mint Shelby and whatever. So I will get a 2013 or a 2014 Mustang. I might, and I'll put a supercharger on the 5.0 for the time being, and then I'll order the Shelby American wide body kit for it, and the front bumper's custom, the shaved door handles are custom, the window vents are custom, everything on that car is basically custom. The hood's custom. That car has a glass roof in it. And one of these days, hopefully, maybe someday, I will own an almost perfect movie-accurate car. It's got Recaro seats in it. It's got a GT500 Alcantara steering wheel. It's got the shaker system with an iPad in it and push-button start. And one of these days, will I own it? Maybe. Maybe not. One of these days, I hope that I can build it close enough to where people will enjoy it. Could I go out and buy a $60,000 Shelby GT500 and start with that? Yeah. But what's the point in ruining a perfectly good car if you know you're going to tear into it and not have it perfect anyways? If I was ever to put a glass roof in one, there's no point in me tearing the roof out of a perfectly good GT500 to then make a glass roof different car. It's just one of those things where it's like, I'd rather start with a 5.0 car with a lot of miles than start with a mint pristine GT500. But I just got out of auto body school. I know how to do body work. I can mount stuff, I can do stuff, so I can do it all myself. It would take time, obviously, but it's just one of those things. So one of these days I will own a GT. One of these days I will own a Need for Speed Mustang that looks relatively close. I mean, it's painted in Ford Ingot Silver and it's got Kona blue stripes on it. Like, 2 Ford factory paint colors. Like, it's not hard. Mustangs came in Ingot Silver all the time. You can find Ingot Silver for nothing. And if I really wanted to, I could wrap the car. But for the time being, it won't get a glass roof. It'll get a black roof with blue stripes on it. Like, it's just those things. Like, oh well. But I'm almost to school, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Go ahead and do everything, and I will see you guys next time. Deuces.